Okay, howdy. I don't think you'll hear about transdisciplinary stuff from us. Just tell you right now. And Dr. Van Zandt, thank you so much for your kind introduction and for your leadership in such an important part of the architectural school. So just thank you for that. And as Dr. Van Zandt mentioned, he said there was a focus on people and places, but people in particular. And I think you'll hear that in our comments today from our team, is that it's first and foremost about people. Long ago, someone said that in architecture, form follows function. And I've always said we don't build anything except what we do is build housing for what people ideally want to do. And that's really building, being community. So here we go. Weird thing, right? How many of you are MLPD students? Raise your hand. How about MRE? MRE? Cool. So I want you all to stand up, and I just want you to shake somebody's hand today and just say hello real quick. Just stand up. You got 1 minute. 1 minute. You gotta get out of this. Okay, you got 10 seconds. 10 seconds. There you go. So, thank you. You just exemplified what we're all about. What you just did, and the, do you see how the tone of the room changed? I mean, all of a sudden, man, we got people smiling. How you doing? What's going on? You see how that changed? That's what we're about. That's what we're in business to do. That's what we feel like our purpose on earth is about, is getting people together to do what you just did. That's what it's all about. And so we're going to talk to you about that today. I also want to thank Jeffrey Booth for your commitment, your vision, your vision for this event. You know, you dreamed this up a long time ago, and I'm just thankful for you for doing that. And I don't know if Sydney Donnell's here, but Sydney, thank you so much for what you do in the MRE program. You sacrificially give and lead, both of you. Thank you so much for what you do for these students. And until you get out of here, you probably won't appreciate, if you're like me, what those two have done for so many of you in leading you. So, you know, it's a great blessing to have those two leading these two programs. We've got some Caldwell folks here that are not up here. Can y'all stand up real quick? Real quick. Real quick. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we got Todd Johnson, Spencer, Ronnie Hell. These are all Aggies. Sandy and Jessica, who supports Peter and I. Your class of what, 2007. You have to have your classes. Ronnie, are you 82? Sandy? 87. Spencer? Todd? 08. Todd's a West Point guy. Served a couple tours of duty in Iraq. And then came back, guys, MBA. It's an American hero right there. So y'all can thank him for his service. And Andrew in the back. What class? Class of 10. So, Sandy, how many Aggies do we have? I don't have any idea. We got about 100 people, and I'm guessing about at least half our people are Aggies. So we're a little light right now. So we're trying to add to Aggies. Quickly, I just want to, and this isn't an advertisement, but I want to give you a little point about why we do what we do. And long ago, we came up with this kind of vision of we honor God by three things: stewarding resources, cultivating relationships, and building extraordinary communities that enrich lives. We did that long ago in a leadership deal, probably 15 plus years ago. And what our point in that vision statement is a couple things. One is that we believe that we have a greater purpose on earth besides making a buck. Okay, and and you'll hear that, and I'll kind of comment on that at lunch. But a greater purpose, and those three things are stewarding resources, meaning we want to manage well what we have, and that includes people, it includes capital, it includes the earth, the things that we're provided out there. We want to be good stewards of that. Sustainability, things like that matter to us, not because they're popular. I don't really care a whole lot about the opinion of people, but I care a whole lot about what we do from a stewardship standpoint. And so sustainability is important because it's the right thing to do. We really care about people. What you just did, stand up, how you doing, all that, we care about that. And we want to make sure that's primary in our business. And then finally, We want to build extraordinary communities that enrich lives. And what we mean by that is both in the physical context, we want to build tremendous places that put people together to allow to have the interaction like you just had. That's one goal. But secondly, from a social standpoint, we want to create extraordinary communities so that people, when they meet us and they do business with our company, their life is made better. Doesn't mean we put you in a home in one of our communities or put you in a building we built, but just because you met us, somehow we want to make sure as a goal that your life's made better. We do that through a real simple mission. We've had this for a long, long time. Doing it right now. And what's cool about it is we have a lot of our customers repeat that to us when we don't do it right or don't do it right now. And I always appreciate that because I know that our customers know our mission. And it's real simple. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And then, by the way, when you figure out what the right thing to do is, get after it. Not a political commentary, but a commentary I'll make is about our new executive change in the United States. You will notice that you have a developer in office, and you will notice the pace is different. And I'll tell you that's because that person in office is used to a business climate where you make decisions right now, every day, and you figure out what the right thing to do is, and you go get it done, period. You may not like him, you may not like the way, some of his stuff, but I'm going to tell you, he is espousing what it's like to be in the development business. If you watch how he operates, you're watching a developer operate. You want to know what it's like to be a developer? Watch how he operates. Figure out the right thing to do. Get your resources, get your input, and then, by gosh, go get it done. No delay. And that's what you're seeing right now. Just some pictures of things that, some communities and whatnot. These are all residential communities. Town Lake's a really cool one out off of 290 that we're building the largest private lake maybe in Texas. We're done with it. Boatable recreational lake, different way of living. Del Webb, active adult. We're the largest active adult developer in Houston. We build like 80% of that product, so that's a real focus for us. So 55 and up is something that we've spent a lot of time on, and these are other communities. We have a new one, the far lower right, starting now. Here in College Station called Mission Ranch, first planned community we've done up here. Beautiful community, beautiful tract, great setting. It's going to be an awesome environment for people to live in. New mixed-use development called the Boardwalk. Boatable, this is within our Town Lake development, so office, retail, vertical mixed-use, place-making, right? So that interaction that happens on Fridays and Saturday nights and throughout the week, and you've got office people, and the cool thing about it is you live in Town Lake, you can drive your boat to your office and go home in a boat, or you can ride a bicycle to your office, or whatever it is you want to do. It's a different way of living, different lifestyle. It's place making that makes someone's life a heck of a lot better than sitting on 290 trying to drive to the Galleria to go to their office. Get it? That's what we want to be about. Probably all of you want to do that kind of stuff. It's really fun. Okay, so this is going back a few years, 1982. On the far right, so you know what? It doesn't seem like that long ago to me, really. I mean, it's weird. I was sitting right where you are. That's the undergraduate, Dr. Vandiver, I believe. It's 1982. These are some old football pictures, and I'm sure this guy in the lower left got around me. It looks like he already has a step on me. So, not sure who that is. It looks like Baylor or something. Probably. Hopefully, we made the tackle. Anyway, Coach Cash. I talked to Andrew, the mayor at Bryan there. That's Keen's dad, is the guy kneeling. I love that guy. He was like a dad to me, and a wonderful man. So, where do you go from here? You're walking across the stage. A lot of you are going to be heading out of here. Where do you go? What do you do? What's it like? Finding your fit. This is something that came up a long time ago. We've got a book for you that I wrote a couple years ago. And this is in that book, but I want to explain this to you because it's something that has become clear to me over time, and that is that all of you have a fit, and you're wired to fit a role in a lane in the world. And your goal is to figure out what that lane is. How many of you know what that lane is already? Yeah, it's all right. Some of you do. I'm all right. Our two daughters are here, Amanda and Lindsay. Amanda in the back seat there, Amanda always knew she was going to be a counselor, and her mean parents said, well, you ought to get a business degree at A&M, and she did, and then she went to seminary and became a counselor. So, but she's always been a counselor. But for me, I'll tell you, when I was walking across that stage the second time out of grad school, I had that much clue on what the lane was that I was supposed to be in. And some of you, that may be where you are too. You're like, where am I supposed to be? This is something that might help you. It's called PEG, P-E-G. So 3 things, I believe, at the intersection begins to define your lane. 2 of these, by the way, take this weird thing called time. I hate to tell you. Maybe all 3, but 2 in particular. Any idea which 2 take time? Experience takes time. Thank you, Lindsay. That's our daughter. Passion. You know, what are you really passionate about? Some of you know, and you've got some inklings about that. I know I did. But I didn't really know, and I certainly didn't know my passion in context to the industry. I didn't understand that. But I'll tell you something that the third thing, though, is you. And that's your giftedness, your uniqueness. You are the only you. And only you are wired the way you're wired. And so part of understanding your lane to swim in is understanding who you really are and what you're good at. And some of you, if you like, there's some people in here that you say, man, if you need numbers run, give it to that person. That's Spencer. Raise your hand, Spencer. World's best numbers guy right there. In our shop, man, that guy right there can run every number. I mean, it's so critical to kind of start thinking about who am I and what am I really gifted at. And then out of that, you start to figure out your passion. And then over time, you get experience. You already have experience. You have some. Okay? You have some. Well, I've talked to several of your classes about this, but, you know, why should a company ever hire you? And I always get great answers like, well, because I'm a hard worker and, you know, I'll do the right thing and all that. And I'm always like, well, we don't want to interview you unless that's true. Right? We don't even want to interview that person unless it's true that they're a hard worker and they'll do the right thing and have good character. But why should we hire you, or why should any business hire you? The answer is because you'll add value. The reality is, though, coming out of grad school, you don't have a lot of experience yet. So it's harder to provide value on the front end. But what you got to figure out is, how can I get experience that's valuable in the marketplace? And what am I passionate about? And then you couple that with your gifting, and all of a sudden you'll figure out that's where I really need to swim. Your lane plus service equals purpose and fulfillment. Pretty simple formula. Simple algebra. A plus B equals C. Get in your lane. And if you get in your lane and swim well, guess what? Good things start happening to you in life. I think that's true. Good things start happening to you in life. If you're in your lane and you're swimming well, guess what? Good things are happening. Then figure out how to give it back. You know, the most unhappy people I've ever met in my life, and because of our industry, we get to deal with a lot of very high net worth and ultra high net worth people. I mean, really high net worth people. And the people that are like this with money are the most unhappy people I've ever met. Because you see, they use money as a score. They use assets as a measure of success. And I'll tell you that if you learn to do this, with what you're providing and be a good steward of it, you'll find fulfillment. So coming out of here, you may think, hey, my goal in life is to make a whole bunch of money and get all the things that I've always wanted that I don't have. And my encouragement to you is that you'll find that's not very fulfilling. That there's a greater fulfillment by learning to receive and then give it back. And you know what the craziest formula in the world is? When you start giving it back, it starts coming back to you again. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I promise you, test me on this. You leave here today, go find somebody on the street or something and give them $10 and see what happens. You try me. Development is a team endeavor. Okay, development business. How many of you want to be developers? Raise your hand. Hi, want to be a developer? All right, cool. How many of you are good at working on teams? Okay, I hope everybody raised their hand. I want to be a developer. Said I want to be. Here's the reality of development. It's not a style sport. It's not like golf or tennis. It's not a singular thing. It's more like football, more like baseball, more like basketball in the sporting world. It takes a team of people. There's no singular person. It's not in our company. It's certainly in me. I mean, it's all these people. You know, if Ronnie wasn't out there raising capital, we wouldn't get anything done. We've got to have capital to build these places. You know, everybody's got roles, and they're interrelated. The synergistic impact of team far exceeds the cumulative sum of individual efforts. How many of you played in a team sport or been on a high-performing team in your life? Probably a bunch of you, right? If you think about those teams that did really well, now if you've been on teams long enough, you've been on teams that performed poorly too. I know I was here at A&M. We did well some years, and we did poorly a few others. And we had great players. I mean, we had a ton of first-round draft picks and whatnot here when I was playing football, and we had some teams that were lousy, and we had some teams that were pretty good. And the difference is when everybody works together as a team, the cumulative impact is greater than their singular input. And if you've been on a high-performing team, you start to see that. You saw it in the Super Bowl. You know, you start to see the synergistic impact the New England Patriots had that was unbelievable in the second half, and in particular the fourth quarter. There was something that happened that was magical if you watch that game. I mean, it was unbelievable. In the NFL, it's unbelievable that the team could score 31 points in one quarter. It's unbelievable. That cannot happen. But it's the result of this. They played as a team, and the singular input of Tom Brady or any of those receivers or any of that alone was not what resulted in the 31 points. It was the synergistic impact of all of them working together as a team. It is a team endeavor. Okay, here's some characteristics of high-performing teams. All right? Elite team puts highest priority on the work of that team. Kind of just said that. Your goal can't be, I'm going to be the number one team player. It's kind of an oxymoron. I'm going to be the number one team player. How about I'm going to be the number one helping everyone else be great? How many of you have that as a goal? Probably not many of you, because I tell you, you compete. You compete on grades, you compete on everything, right? You compete, which is good. But if you really want to be a great team, your deal is I'm going to play my role and I'm going to help everyone else play their role better. That's a great team player. I'm going to help everyone else on the team be better at what they do. And I'm going to play my role. Team members can articulate unifying goals to which they're committed. Pretty simple strategy, but it's overlooked by a lot of teams. It's overlooked in a lot of organizations. Can everyone on the team state the goal? What is the goal that we are trying to achieve? And I'd say there's a lot of teams that can't do that. Process clearly defined. Everybody knows their roles. You know, Jeffrey, there was no question, Professor Booth, on the roles to be played today. And Dr. Van Zandt, you made a point of that, right? That's part of your gifting, by the way, unique gifting. And he makes sure everybody knows their roles to play. It's part of high-performing teams. Individuals don't always have decisions go their way. Ouch. But here's the thing. Quality teams get everyone's opinion on the table. That means your meetings look sloppy. The worst meetings, in my opinion, are where everybody's going, oh yeah, it's so good, and everybody's polite and nice and patting each other on the back, and it's such, and those are the worst meetings ever. They're terrible. You know, the best meetings look messy, and there's kind of tough stuff being discussed, and you're wrestling. Those are quality meetings. Great meetings. You want to read a great book, write down Death by Meeting. Death by Meeting by Pat Lencioni. You want to read a great book on how to improve your performance of your team, read Pat Lencioni's Death by Meeting. He'll convince you that nice, orderly meetings are really not very good. Sydney, you work with Sam Zell. Where's Sydney? I suspect Mr. Zell's meetings were never nice and orderly and neat. Just the times I've heard him and been around him a little bit, I don't think his meetings would be nice and orderly. It's a trait of good leadership to cause almost disruptive behavior in meetings to get everyone engaged and get their minds working. Team unity. Focus on unity overall. Unity must be defended internally and externally. What's that look like? Well, it means you defend your teammate, period. You don't walk out of meetings. Once you make a decision, you walk out of a meeting, you stick to that decision of the team. And you don't undermine the team. Pretty simple. I call it cancer. When you walk out of a meeting and you undermine the unifying decision that was made, so that's a behavior that can't be tolerated internally. It can't be tolerated externally either. So you defend the unity of the team. Collaboration, good communication, sharing, no impediment, sharing information, ideas. Don't create barriers within your own business. You know, it's important to share information. The bus, this is something we came up with years ago too. It's in the book. Culture and results, really. Collins came up with this long ago. Some of you, how many of you read Good to Great? Good to Great. You got to read it coming out of grad school. Sydney and Jeffrey, could we make that a requirement before they get out? It's the best business book ever written, seriously. It is the best business book ever written, in my humble opinion. It is Jim Collins' stuff so good. He wrote the first one, it's called Built to Last. So Built to Last, Collins really argued. This was formative in our company's culture from the beginning was his book, Built to Last. And it's all about culture and what is you hired a culture first. And the question is, results versus culture, and very quickly, how are we doing on time? 5 to go? Perfect. Culture. When you get people on a team, you'll find there are people that are high on your culture, and you'll find there are people that are low on culture. And then you see results across the horizontal part of this. You'll find that some people get high results, and some people get low results. Pretty simple. What do you do with number 3? What do you think? What do you do with number 3? It's all this, right? And by the way, you do that right now. Okay? Low culture, low results. Get them the heck off the bus. You know what I always tell people? There's another canoe in the river. Help them get in that canoe. That's what I always tell people. I call it canoe theory. There's a ton of canoes going down the river, and we want to help you get in another canoe because you're not in the right canoe. And we'll go help them get another job. It's great, but they don't need to be in our canoe. We need to get them out fast. High results. Let's go. High culture, low results. What do you think you do with that person? High culture, they're a good cultural fit, not getting good results. What do you think we do with them? Say again. Coach. Right, exactly. Coach them. What else can you do with them? Find them a different seat on the bus. Remember the peg? Maybe we're not in a seat that we're passionate about. Maybe we're not in a seat that leverages our experience. Okay? Maybe it doesn't leverage our gifting. Put them in a different seat on the bus and try to move them around a little bit. All right? Obviously, high results, high culture, what do you do with them? By the way, the answer is not don't do anything. There's an answer. You should do something. Huh? Promote, retain. In business, we like to say golden handcuffs. Keep them on the bus. You don't want them to leave. You can't leave me. Don't leave me. You got to keep those people. We got a whole bunch of them, right? All these folks up here and sitting out here. All high culture, high result folks. You know? Andrew's sitting in the back here, man. Golly, he's not been with us very long, but we already know he's out there in that 2 category. Okay, here's the hardest one, 4. What do you do with 4? High results, low culture. What's that look like? Well, you know, here's what our firm stands for, but this person, well, they don't really care what we stand for. They kind of do business their own way. But by the way, they hit their numbers, they get their results, they get that deal done or whatever. What do you do with them? Hardest decision in business. Right answer. And the hardest decision as a leader you'll have. And a lot of you, all of you, probably are going to be leading teams, and you're going to have a number 4 on a team at some point in your career. And you may have more than one. Obviously, it's a hiring issue first. It ought to inform on hiring that, you know what, if I hire people just because they have experience getting stuff done, but they don't really fit our culture, don't hire them. Because you're setting yourself up for misery. You want to have a lot of sleepless nights? Go get a bunch of 4s on your team. You want to have a, painful experience, get a bunch of 4s. And it'll make your life miserable. Okay, I get to introduce a bunch of people out in that top right corner. So I'm going to skip Peter and come back to him last because he's going to be up next. I'll start with Miranda Hadamick. Miranda works in our development area and just such a key person for us. She is highly gifted both analytically and marketing. She coordinates all of our development projects and investments. Everything goes through her. I call her the control tower. And she really does a phenomenal job for us. And so she's going to share her story. Clint Cooper runs our College Station office. He started in our corporate office as an analyst coming out of the MRE program, both of them MRE. And Clint just does a wonderful job. He's active in the community up here and has headed up and really has an incredible investment mind. So, and Clint has really, worked in kind of finding that right lane for his gifting and passion and whatnot, and I think he's got clarity on that, and he'll talk to you some about that. Evan Hershey. Evan came through undergrad and went to work for our firm out of A&M, and has a really unique background in her story. And then she went back and got her MRE recently, and now she started working in our marketing group, went through the MRE program, and now she's working in our investment group as an analyst. So she's got a unique story that she's going to tell you. Shui? I said it right. Shui. Has more degrees than everybody else up here on the stage, and she's the smartest person on the stage by 3 to 1. Has, again, a unique story, and she went through the MLPD program, and we are so thrilled to have her. She's from China, and she can do everything she's got landscape architecture degrees, and she's brilliant financially. I mean, it's like, what can't she do? I got tires I need to change. She'd know how to do that, like crazy. She can do it all, and she has, again, a cool story to share with you. On the end is my wife, Susan, and Susan was for a long, long time part-time, and then she became full-time and headed up our marketing department, and now she's retired, and now we call her keeper of the culture. So she's that person working on that culture axis in our firm, and she's going to share with you her story.